Salutations, Gorilla Nation, and welcome to the Pittsburg State Twitch. We are playing some Overwatch here tonight. It is good to be back. This is Mark Ziegler coming to you live from our studio. And folks, we have a Gorillas team that is raring to go for this season. We have Whiskery, Rainer, that's Right Guy Plays to you and I, Izoyoi Sakuya, Lava JDO, and Professor Comedy leading the charge. And we have a new player with us tonight, Prison. That is right. Prison is a new member of our team, but I know him personally. He is an amazing guy. He has a very strategic mind, and I have a good feeling about this. And speaking of good feelings, who better to join us in our very first match than our old pals, the Alexandria Tech and Community College legends, all the way over in beautiful Alexandria, Minnesota. That is right, folks, and looks like they have some fresh faces as well. We have Sparks Jedi 06, Frog in a Pond, and Cactus Pezzy, and a new pal with them, Yonsolal. I am looking forward to this, folks. Alright, well, since we got some time to kill, and while we're getting ready, there is going to be some new things coming to Overwatch. There we go, sorry, I get trigger happy sometimes. War has been waged. Doomfist has fallen. Vendetta has returned to reclaim what is rightfully hers. Ladies and gentlemen, 2026 is the reign of Talon. And with the reign of Talon comes a whole bunch of new changes. One of these changes is sub-roles. That is right. Tanks, damage dealers, and supports are all still very much a thing, but they are now divided into different subclasses. Each one has its own new passive, and each one has its own character. Starting off with the tanks, we have initiators who are highly mobile and are good for starting conflict, and they have a passive that allows them to heal when they're airborne. Those would be those would be Diva, Doomfist, Winston, and Wrecking Ball. Up next are the Bruisers. They are really good in close range, and they have a trait that allows them to gain movement speed when they're at critical health, and they take less damage from crits. Um, those would be Manga, Arisa, Roadhog, and Zarya. And rounding out the tanks are the Stalwarts. Stalwarts are the definitions of team player. They're not afraid to jump into the fray, and with their passives, if they get a kill, their reload speed will increase for a bit. Those would be, Hazard, Junker Queen, Ramatra, Reinhardt, and Sigma. Alright, next up are the damage dealers. Leading off, we have our specialists. Specialists do their best work from afar, and they're able to do very good constant damage. And their passive, if they get a kill. Oh, shoot, sorry, I read that wrong. Um, sorry. Stalwarts are immune to or weaker against crits. The specialists get a kill when they get a kill, the reload speed increases. But anyway, those are Bastion, Junkrat, Mei, Soldier 76, Symmetra, and Torbjorn. Meanwhile, Echo, Freya, Pharah, and Sombra are the recon class. These mobile scouts are perfect for getting all kinds of angles on the enemy, and if they damage an enemy under half health, they can see them through walls. Alright, and then now it's time for the flankers. Flankers are very good short-range heroes with movement abilities that allow them to become real nuisances whenever they're at a close range. And they heal for extra health when they get a health pack. Those are Genji, Reaper, Tracer, Vendetta, and Venture. Um, and then for the last damage class are the Sharpshooters. Those would be Ashe, Cassidy, Hanzo, Sojourn, and Widowmaker. Sharpshooters do their best work from a distance, being able to poke their enemy's health away, and their passive allows their movement abilities to reduce if they get a crit. Um, Next up are the supports. Starting things off with the tacticians. Tacticians go beyond what is normal for a regular support. They can buff their teams in any way, such as through speed or damage or what have you. And their trait allows them to yes, they get extra charge on their ultimate, and they can carry over after using their ultimates. Those are Ana, Baptiste, Lucio, and Zenyatta. But if you want to support without all the bells and whistles, there's a solution in the medic class. Ask yourself if any of the following medics, Kiriko, Lifeweaver, Mercy, or Moira, might be right for you. Passive effects may include healing yourself while healing your allies. And rounding out the team for some sub-roles, we have the Survivors. Survivors have really good mobility, and they are not afraid to get into the fight. And they have a passive that allows their movement abilities to trigger their own passive healings. That's right, these survivors are gonna make it. And those would be Brigitte, Iliari, Juno, and Wuyong. Alright, looks like we're just about ready up, still waiting on the Gorillas ban. It is looking to me as if Busan will be our first map. Busan. And then for our first ban, we have Lucio coming out of the Legends. Lucio is always a very good choice for short-range combat, and also with his wall riding makes him a very good mobility. Sorry, I cannot word today. I am just so excited that we are finally back playing Overwatch after a couple of months. There we go. As I get the maps pulled up for Busan, I guess I can also talk about some of the new heroes that are coming to the game. So there is a new system for Overwatch. All the heroes, they'll release one new hero every season, with the exception of this one. And all the heroes will help move the story forward a little bit. The reason why I say there isn't one hero this season is because there is 5. That is right, 5 heroes. And I will spare you the details because I will tell you about them during the break, because it sounds like we have a gorilla ban on the board, and that is on Cassidy. Alright, looks like we are just about set. Round 1 is going to be Control, as per usual. Control is basically a King of the Hill style game where you have 1 point and both teams are trying to capture it. Capture progress happens whenever there's no conflict going on, but it gets contested whenever the other team is trying to get in there. And whoever captures 2 points first is the winner. It's a best of 3. Alright, looks like... sounding like the gorillas are ready. The gorillas are ready, and Legends are just about ready to roll. So I'm not sure if I said this earlier, we are no strangers to the ADCC Legends. We have played them twice, last semester alone actually. Once in the regular season where they beat us 3-0, and then one in the last round of the playoffs for the 3rd place decider, where they placed 3rd by winning against us 3-1. I am very much looking forward to this. I think the Gorillas just need to focus on their aggression, maintain control, and also just trusting each other, because it sounds like people have been trying new things. I know Rainier and Sakuya switched places in terms of role. All right. All right, here we are, folks. It is a rainy day in Busan as we get ready to attack. 15 seconds to showtime. We give you a view of the path that our heroes might have to take. Alright, looks like we are almost ready to go. 2-1, who are we playing with? Alright, Whiskery's taking Vendetta out for a spin now that her ban's been lifted. Rainier is going to be Kiri. We have a Venture, we have a Freya, and we have a Wrecking Ball. Nice. And then we also have a Baptiste, a Bastion, Freya, Orisa, and another Kiriko.
5,
4. Stay with me, folks.
as they say.
Armies onward, and that ball is rolling out at Mach speed. Alright, looks like Gorillas have already gotten onto the point. Trying to take the firefight from afar as Comedy works on chipping down their health with those quad cannons. Rolling out with a little defensive maneuver. Whiskery is trying to attack them with her shield. One thing to take note of with Vendetta is that Vendetta is not really the range type. She is the game's first ever melee DPS hero. Alright, we have a pile driver. The ball is down. Hammond! Alright, that point is being captured. And looks like the Gorillas are going to lead the charge. All right, and it looks like we have our first down on Sparks and Jedi, but Sakuya goes down as well. All right, we are anchored and trying to say hello to the enemy. And it looks like, yep, looks like Solal does a little swift step away, but it's in vain. Working on trying to chip down Pezzy's health. Looks like they go fortified. Ooh, and that's a javelin in the ball. It's like Cactus has switched onto Junkrat. Now, Junkrat is a formidable threat for the Gorillas, especially when it's played by someone on ADCC. All right, the Gorillas are about quarter of the way done. Comedy just hiding behind cover.
I'm here.
All right, Rainier, his little swift step, climbs up.
Like a gentle
Does some
rain.
healings from far. While Sakuya throws down. Alright, and that's a javelin that eliminates Sakuya. Comedy goes down as well, and so does Whiskery. But we are at 50% on the capture. Gorilla's still holding strong as Lava holds down the fort. Gorillas are back at full strength, but I think I hear the sounds of a Legends contestation. Yes, the Legends are going to begin their capture here. Alright, we have a Terror Surge ready to rock whenever, and I think that Pezzy might be trying to find one of our Gorillas to potentially land it on. Like just playing a little game of keep away from the statue, but what's this? I see a pile driver, and ba-boom! There go the torpedoes. Alright, Pezzy doing a little duck hunt. Alright, there's that javelin. It looks like Whiskery is staying aggressive. We're slicing and dicing some robot. And there's that jab. Alright, we have a Riptire and a Configuration Artillery, but I think I hear, yeah, there's a Sundering Slam and an Orbital Ray and a Minefield. Yes, there is that, but it looks like I think it got, yeah, it's already been played. Gorillas are back on the capture, just about to hit the 75% mark. Alright, yep, Whiskery, or no, that's not Whiskery, Sakuya dashes forward, tries to get some hits from above, gets taken out by that Terror Surge. Lava and Sakuya have been downed. Solal, meanwhile, gets into a fight with, yep, alright, we're at that 91. We have a Kitsune Rush, Tectonic Shock, and Orbital Ray ready to rock. Ooh, hello, Inked Cactus.
Capture the point. I'm with you.
Alright, we are in overtime as the Legends begin a new attempt on retaking the point.
Amplification matrix ready.
Alright, I think it sounds like they have an amplification matrix ready. Yes, sirree. They also have that configuration artillery, Riptire, and Kitsune Rush, but we have our own Kitsune Rush and a Tectonic Shock and Orbital Ray. Alright, let's see what they make of this here, folks. Yep. Alright, there's a pile driver down. Looks like that Riptire doesn't take down anyone. I hear a friendly Kitsune Rush, and there's that Tectonic Shock. It is getting hotter than that jambalaya I had the other night here, folks. Holy moly. And pile driver. We are staying in ball form as we try to take down that Pezzy. Yep. That Juno saved us, and down goes the ball. Alright, this is it. The Legends are taking the fight to us. They're about to hit that 90% mark. Meanwhile, we got a firefight, it sounds like, out here. Yep, Cactus goes down, courtesy of Sakuya. And down she goes. Yep, there's that Orbital Ray as we do some blocking. Yep. Holy Toledo. Yeah, there's a Terror Surge. Woo! We just narrowly dodged that. Pezzy goes down, the Gorillas are back on the capture. Hot tamales, that was something there, folks. Oh, we have another contest. Yep, there goes that strike. And the Gorillas secure the objective, and that is one point in the bag. That isn't the end of the round yet there, folks, because we still have one more point to capture, and the Legends can always come back. Okay, we are hanging out in the base.
We're up, crew. Who knows what we'll find out there?
Amen, Venture. Alright, looks like we are hanging out on the inside, so something tells me we're in the
Like Rainier?
observatory area.
I
should have packed a wetsuit.
Yep, looks like Comedy is just rolling around. I see Pezzy has switched on over to a Roadhog. That's not really a bad idea, given the brawls that we've been getting into, and how Roadhog is a bruiser, so Roadhog is built for close range combat. Alright, we're getting back in there, folks. Alright, yep, leading the charge, and there's Comedy. Meanwhile, Comedy trying to take him down from the corner. There's that pile driver. Kapooyah! And it looks like we've been stunned. The Big Pig doesn't do anything to us. Alright, point C as has been unlocked. C as in Comedy. Yep, looks like the Gorillas are about halfway through on the start. Alright, we are cooking now here, folks. We got a triple kill on the board. Looks like the Legends are back to full strength. Alright. We are rocking and rolling and trolling for some bowling. While Rainier is just hanging out in the corner. There's an ice wall from what looks like a May. Yes, Frog in a Pond is now a May. Looks like Cactus has gone down. A little vengeance on taking out our Rainier. Alright, we are burrowing. And hello, what's up, danger that we stray away from? Yep, that Roadhog is hot on our tail and takes us down.
Thundering blade is charging.
Whoa, there's a chain hook. And the Legends are... Looks like they've taken the capture. Yep, it's like Desi trying to chip down ball from the corner. Nope, never mind. Corner's over here. Ooh, and there goes the mech. Alright, looks like the Legends are about to catch up to our progress here. Yep, probably smart play with that Roadhog, since this is a pretty closed off area. There are some chokes here, and if I know Roadhog well, it is a good idea for chokes. Alright, we have a whole hog. We have a Riptire. Amplification Matrix ready to go, and we also got a Tectonic Shock on our end. Oh, hello, sword! Alright, looks like they're going whole hog. And Sakuya is on a killing streak. Holy Toledo. Alright, there goes Sparks Jedi and Yonsolal. Frog in a Pond. Cactus is down as well, and Pezzy. Folks, we have ourselves a Gorilla team kill. Red floor in the morning. Opponents take warning. Alright, Gorillas are working on capturing. No, we do have capture. Trying to get it up. Legends just barely got it past that 50% mark. Oh, we have a trap. And Yonsolal takes down the Whiskery. Comedy switched on to a Zarya. Also not a bad idea in those close range firefights. Yep, there goes the Steel Trap. That's some energy. Yep, the Gorillas have passed the Legends' progress. Looks like they're focused. Looks like Lava is, or no, not Lava. Comedy is focusing on Pezzy. Alright, there's that orbital ray from Lava. Meanwhile, it looks like the Big Bacon's getting cooked out there. But Heals thinks of that Hydrogen. Alright, it sounds like we have a Yonsolal PCNA rush, but they go down, and Cactus, and Jedi. Uh-oh, Frog in a Pond is down as well. That's another Gorilla team kill. Serving it like that spaghetti and meatballs I just had before coming here tonight. Alright, there go the Pulsars, and that's a 99. And folks, round one goes to the Gorillas. Alright, let's see who our Pele of the game is here. And it is Izuyoi Sakuya who is taking the play of the game on this one, as we try not to get hit in the face by Stalak something. Aha! Tectonic Shock! That triple kill. Alright, well that is one for the Gorillas. As I work on getting our game updated here, I would like to talk about our newest heroes now. So there are 5 new heroes coming into this, and they are all pretty fun. Obviously, they are under a ban by PCL for 2 weeks, so their ban will expire on the 24th. but they are pretty fun. So leading things off is Domina. Domina is a stalwart tank and is the president or the vice president of Vishkar Corporation. Real name Vera Singhania. This Indian national is not fully involved in Talon, but she is a shady character because anything Vendetta breaks, she will rebuild. And she's also your stereotypical rich, you know, we've got to have money type of person. Anywho, Domina does her best work from afar. She is very much the kind of person that you want to have behind cover. She also has the longest beam in the game, believe it or not. Her passive is Reconstruction. Dealing damage will restore health to her barriers. Photon Magnum is that longest range beam I was telling you about. It'll stay onto an enemy for a little bit before ending in an explosion. For her abilities, we start with Barrier Ray, that is a wrapped shield that will encircle enemies, or your heroes, and then it is also going to be destroyed in segments. So unlike, Reinhardt or Ramatra or whoever's barriers that go down all at once, um, her her what is it? Her barrier is made in segments, so it's going to take a little bit to crack. Sonic repulsors are a strong push for if someone's getting too close. It'll stun them if they hit a wall. Her crystal charge is a crystal that she throws out, and reactivating it will cause it to explode. And then finally is her ultimate Panopticon. Panopticon is sorry. Panopticon is basically a reverse shield of sorts. It shields your enemies, but instead of giving them a barrier or whatever, it will instead nullify their damage and their healing, and it'll all end in explosion. Alright, King's Row is the name of our map here. That also gives me enough time to talk about our next new hero, someone who is more active within Talon, whether he likes it or not, is Emre. Emre Sorolla was once a model Overwatch agent until he disappeared under mysterious circumstances. He believed that he could change the world better on his own, but that wasn't until Freya, a good friend of his from his Overwatch days, found him far away from his native Turkey, and he wasn't the man that she used to know. He could go between, this strong, devoted soldier to a ruthless war machine in seconds. Emery has a passive called Altered Vitals. He will begin healing passively sooner, and he also will instantly regenerate 30 health once it starts, so just a little bit extra. His primary fire is his Synthetic Burst Rifle. It will fire 3 shots in a single burst. It also has an alt fire where he can use a scope, but believe it or not, he does not slow down like other scoped heroes. He maintains his speed, so he is very much the classic running gun type of character. If that won't work, then he can temporarily equip his Siphon Blaster. Siphon Blaster is a temporary gun, or temporary handgun. Sorry, my Apple Watch was ticking. He will temporarily equip a handgun that will apply lifesteal to his enemies, and he will also get a speed boost and a jump height increase, so that makes him an even more agile hero. And he can also throw out cyber frags. Cyber frags are these little grenades that can bounce off walls and potentially deal some, like, they chip away at health, so not a whole lot of damage, but they can be really good for sneak attacks. And then finally, Override Protocol. This is where he becomes the ruthless instrument of war that he became, um, or that he was converted to be. Um, with his Override Protocol, he will ascend into the air, and he has 2 choices of fire. He can fire 3 light rounds, or he can charge up a very devastating heavy round that is very wide area, very everything. I actually was able to catch our team practicing early before coming into this, and I have a strong feeling that once this ban is lifted on all the heroes, then I am so sorry here, folks. Whiskery will be playing a lot of Emre. Speaking of things being restricted and stuff like that, I would also like to point out that there is a map in restriction right now. That would be Watchpoint Gibraltar. The PCL has a rule that any new or freshly reworked map is going to be subject to a ban. Heroes are, or not a ban, a restriction. Heroes are a 2-week restriction, and maps are a 4-week restriction. And since Gibraltar had enough changes that could be considered a rework, then they decided to ban it for 4 weeks. So it will come back on March 10th. All right, Kings Row is the name of the game here. Kings Row. They are. But anywho, so yeah, Kings Row is the name of the map here, full of choke points, and it is a favorite to our gorillas. Looks like the gorillas are choosing to ban Diva. Always a smart point idea, and then Vendetta is also being banned on the Legends end. All right, let's get this.
Initiating match.
All right, let's get this gravy train rolling here. 20 seconds to showtime. We take you through the streets. This is ultimately where it's going to end, just a little bit away. And I got to skedaddle to the starting point. Alright, our heroes are almost in order. What are we working with here? Survey says. Yeah, alright. So, looks like Whiskery's taking a Symmetra, Lava's on a Lucio, and Prison is taking Sojourn. Yes, this is Prison's time to shine. And then we also have Ramatra on, or commenting on Ramatra and Rainier on Moira. And then we have another we have an Iliari, we have, oopsies. Alright, we have a Bastion, Iliari, Torbjorn, another Ramatra, and a Wu Yang to do. Alright, looks like, yeah, it looks like the Legends are going to start defending first. 4, 3, 2, 1. I love the sound of Overwatch bullets in the morning. Alright, and there's that initial firefight. I see a healing pylon has been deployed, courtesy of Sparks Jedi. That has been something of a distraction for our guerrillas previously, believe it or not. Alright, looks like... Oh, and there is a Ravenous Vortex courtesy of Comedy. Meanwhile, looks like... Yes, looks like Dragonapon is trying to take the fight from behind in the choke. And Whiskery draws first blood. Looks like we have a double kill. Alright, looks like we almost have a full capture on the point. How goes that biotic orb potentially damage their Torbjorn? And we are on the road here, folks. Alright, that payload garage is opening up, and it looks like we might have ourselves a brawl out here. Nope, not a brawl, but still taking it from a distance. Yep, there's that Ravenous Vortex to try to whittle away their health. Up goes that shield, and the healing pylon goes down here in the choke. Alright, that payload is moving. Looks like Comedy is potentially trying to take them all one-on-one, or one-on-5, excuse me. Alright, there's that Nemesis form as we go punching away. There's a block. And they go down, courtesy of Sparks Jedi. While Rainier hiding in a corner. That payload has been stopped, it would appear. Alright, we fade and do a little tactical retreat. I think, yeah, I hear that thumping. That's their Bastion. Alright, yep, that is moving backwards. That is not a good sign for the gorillas. Looks like, yes, we're hiding in a choke. Meanwhile, yeah, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Yep, up go those pebbles. And we have an up-high firefight. It looks like their Pezzy is trying to potentially get up to us, yes. And we have a little Ramatra on Ramatra Virus. Prison is down, and Comedy looks like he could take a hit any minute, he could block it any second. Pezzy has been down. I hear an artillery coming down from Dragonapon. There's that barrier up by Whiskery. There's a Coalescence as well. And we have a sound barrier. Alright, that payload is on the road again.
I will make use of this.
Alright, we have perk equipped. I think that's Destruction's Divide, which allows Moira to toggle between both aspects of repulsance, healing and damage.
Unassailable prowess.
Okie doke, we are getting close to the end. It's like Whiskery is trying to do everything he can. The teleporter up to cover. Now those charge shots trying to take down the Sparks Jedi. Yep, there's a healing pylon. It looks like their Yari is. Yep, there it's whittling. Alright, that payload is at the checkpoint. If it just gets to the end, then the Guerrillas have a pretty strong. Ooh, and there's that molten floor. Pezzy knocks out Lava, and Prison, with the help of our own Whiskery, takes out Sparks Jedi. Comedy has been down too. That doesn't seem to slow us down at all, though, as we work on trying to take this from up high. Alright, looks like that payload has been stopped. Looks like they see him from the outside. There's a restorative stream going on to Froggen Pond. Yep, and it looks like our Guerrillas are up top. Alright, there's that disruptor shot. That payload is removing back. There's that tidal blast from Yonsalal. That looks like it got shut down. Alright. And we have a Pezzy annihilation. Looks like Rainier is the last one standing for Pit. Down they go, but looks like Lava and Prison are coming back. Alright, that payload is starting to move backwards. With 3 minutes left to go. Looks like Pezzy using the payload as a barrier. That's a interesting tactic. Alright. And we have Whiskery and Comedy taking down their toys. But it looks like Rainier is on the brink. Holy Toledo. Pezzy and Froggen go down. There's that overclock coming out of Prison. Rainier and Colsons, and that was that Whiskery barrier. And folks, we got ourselves another Guerrilla team kill. Thank you. I'll have another. Alright, we got a Ravenous Vortex up and at him. There's that sound barrier, and looks like almost everyone gets overhealth. We have an enemy artillery and a molten floor, but the Guerrillas have moved it into the end, just as Rainier falls down. Now this is not the end here, folks, because the Legends do have a bit of a tall order ahead of them. They have to do everything that we just did to tie. If they cannot do that within a time frame, then the Guerrillas take this. But if I know our opponents well enough, it's that they will not go down without a fight. So I am genuinely excited to see this. Alright, 10 seconds left until we get this going as I give you a little tour of King's Row. Some like it bot. Alright. So it looks like we have same-ish same-ish layout. Cactus is back on the rat, and Pezzy has decided to take Winton.
This will be smooth sailing.
And Jedi is also Sparks Jedi has taken a Moira, and Froggen Pond's on Sojourn.
Push your limits. Nothing breaks that I cannot mend.
Alright, so yes, so the Legends are going to be attacking this round, so they're basically walking in our footsteps. Guerrillas are already out there preparing their defenses, and it looks like the Legends are just about ready to come out of the gate. 3, 2, 1. In they go. Looks like Cactus is getting a little trigger happy from recover, trying to use some of those, using the bounce physics on those concussion mines to bounce in. Yep, looks like their Froggen Pond is trying to take the damage from recover. Yep, that railgun is ripping it out. And looks like the Guerrillas draw first blood as Pezzy and Sparks Jedi go down. Meanwhile, looks like Yonsalal is sliding for cover. Yep. JDO takes down Frog in a Pond as Comedy works on trying to whittle him down. Cover. Whiskery puts up a teleporter, and looks like the Legends are trying to take on the old stick together approach. The one thing you should do in every horror movie. Alright, that barrier has been downed, it would appear. Looks like we go. Looks like we have a vortex in case they try to come over from around the corner. Alright, about 2.5 left in the round.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And out goes their Riptide. Up we go. And that takes down Comedy. Looks like we take down Jedi as well. Looks like Rainier was trying to steal some of their health, but Cactus takes down Rainier, but Yonsalal is down as well. Pezzy too. Meanwhile, Cactus using the old I am sorry, folks. I thought I heard a really weird freeze. Ooh, Comedy takes down the Cactus. Jedi is still down. Yonsalal is down too. Yep, it looks like Rainier is trying to heal Comedy. And looks like Frog in a Pond is back on Bastion. Doesn't seem to be a problem though, as we try to whittle them down. Comedy trying to take it into the air. We have an Annihilation. Yeah, the Gorillas have full ultimates ready to pop out whenever. Knifefinger is ready to jump to whatever perspective is needed. Alright, well there's that Tidal Blast. Alright, we have a sound barrier. We have an overclock. Alright, up we go. There's a 10-player kill streak. Is that enough for a Gorilla team kill? I don't think so. Pezzy is switching on to the Junker Queen.
60 seconds.
And thank you, Razor Bladio, for letting me know that the team UI is flipped. I'll flip it over during the next break. Anyway, 1 minute left to go. If the Legends cannot do any kind of capture here, then it's the route to the Gorillas. Up Sidagi. Yep, Prison still trying to take him down with that Sojourn. Alright, 30 left as it looks like, yes, looks like Lava tries to get into the fight. And we do a melee onto the Frog in a Pond with assist from Sojourn. Sparks Jedi has been down. Rainier, Prison, Pezzy. Alright, there's 13 left. And it looks like, yep, we have a Cola Sense from the enemy. Alright, 4, 3, 2, 1. Overtime. Yep, it looks like. And we have a Gorilla. That's a team kill for them, never mind.
Victory.
Alright, looks like the Gorillas take round 2. Alright, and it is Prison, the new guy, with the play of the game. Alright, Pezzy has been down.
This ends now. That's 2.
Alright, and yes. Alright, I am going to work on flipping our, whoops. Alright, I'm going to work on flipping those banners. So please excuse me for a moment. There we go. That should be nice and fixed. There it is. Okay. Fantastic. Alright, well. Alright. Looks like Sakia is going to be subbing in for Lava JDO. And since there's some more time to kill, let's talk about some more of the new heroes that we can expect to see coming here soon. So, up next is, first of the Overwatch side. Alright, there we go. Alright, so coming in for the Overwatch side, first up is Onrun. Onrun is a damage dealer, more specifically a flanker, and she is also a member of Wuxing University. She is Wu Yang's older brother, and she is a member of the Fire College. Since she just graduated, Talon has been taking over, and so she joined Overwatch in order to bring the fight to them, and also to keep an eye on her little bro. Onrun is a flanker, so she does her best work going into the fight, and she can be very tough she can be kind of a nuisance at close range. Her passive is called Ignition, which allows her attacks to set enemies on fire. Um, she has two attacks here. Her Juke fans. She will fan her. She can use her hand fans to send out fireballs to set the enemy alight. Fan the Flames will exacerbate the burning effects. And then she has two abilities. Inferno Rush allows her to dash forward, engulfing herself in flames and burning anyone she touches. And then Dancing Blaze. She pretty much becomes a human projectile, and she'll bounce around. She'll bounce between enemies and just deal some absolute damage while also dodging their attacks. And then Onrun, always having to one up your younger siblings, I say as the oldest of five children, has two ultimates. Her first ultimate is Vermilion Ascent. If she is alive, she will rise into the air and then go crashing down into the earth and burning anything that caught in the radius. And then her other ultimate is called Vermilion Revival. If she dies with full ultimate charge, then she has a 5-second window, I believe, to revive, and she will revive herself and just create a big fiery explosion. It's just magnificent. Yeah, alright, there's also another hero coming into the game for Overwatch, and that is Jetpack Cat. Yes. In a game with genetically modified gorilla scientists and jumped up hamster cage fighters, they gave a cat a jetpack. Jetpack Cat is known as Fika, which is named after Swedish coffee culture. But she's just a stray found wandering near Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Brigitte, being the cat enthusiast that she is, had to take her in. Jetpack Cat does have a passive called Jetpack, which it's not. The name itself is kind of boring, but the passive is simply fantastic. Unlike other heroes like Echo or Pharah or Sigma, who have to come down to the ground after staying in the air for a bit, Jetpack Cat is permanently in the air, so, yeah. Her the puns. Her main projectiles are her bionic paw projectiles. Get it? Using the turrets on her jetpack, she'll fire a medium-range spread of bullets that will heal her allies and damage enemies. Jetpack Cat comes into play as a tactician with Lifeline. Lifeline is essentially a tether that can grab onto allies and carry them to vital points on the map. So, picture like you have a Reaper with a Death Blossom ready to roll. You can carry him over to a horde of enemies and just die, die, die. Um, and then also Frenetic Flight. Frenetic Flight gives Jetpack Cat an acceleration boost, and but it does require some fuel, and the fuel that it regenerates is slower if it's carrying an ally. And then also Purr. No, she will not purr into a microphone and cause a sonic doom. She will, however, create a field or a pulse that will heal allies, and it will increase its strength over time. It will also knock back enemies once it's cast. And then finally, Catnapper is her ultimate. She will dive in, knock back enemies, and tether an enemy onto her hook and carry them along the map. So you better hope that if you're going up against a Jetpack Cat, you better hope that she doesn't have any ideas involving the Edge and environmental kill. And then finally, there's one more new hero coming to this. He is torn between Overwatch and Talon. His name is Mizuki. Mizuki Kawano was born into a curse. He believes he was born with a curse, as misfortune just follows him around. He is a hardened member of the Hashimoto family, but he's torn between Overwatch and Hashimoto, and he just wants to live his life. He's a really nice guy, believe it or not. He has a passive called Remedy Aura. Or actually, you know what? I will discuss Mizuki later because it looks like we are getting ready to go. New Junk City is the name of our map for Flashpoint, and New Junk City is Flashpoint is the kind of a game where if Control is a person, then Flashpoint is the annoying younger brother that mom makes you spend time with. Um, obviously, no offense to my brothers, but um, so basically, with Flashpoint, you have 5 mini points around the map that you have to capture. Whoever captures 3 points first is the winner. There's no 3 different maps; it's all one map. And New Junk City is going to be our choice. It looks like the gorillas are choosing to ban May on this, and it looks like Wrecking Ball is going to be banned on the Legend side. So no ball for comedy, but it's not a big deal, especially because there are other good open ranged. Excuse me, there is a frog in my throat or something. There are other close ranged heroes that, or other long range heroes that you can play as. Alright, looks like we are just about ready. Alright, sounds like the gorillas are ready. And looks like the legends are just about ready any second now. See, it doesn't look like there's any substitutions in from the legend side. The gorillas, if you're just now joining us, the gorillas currently lead 2-0 over the legends, but obviously anything can happen. So, since there's some time to kill, how's everyone been doing lately? Obviously, we've been away for a couple months. I hope everyone had a good break. If you did anything fun, let us know. We'd love to hear. I know I went home for break, and I had a blast. It was fun to see my family again. Yeah. Also, looking ahead to our schedule, we played ADCC twice last season, and we have great lineup of some more things. We play Stephen F. Austin again at the end of the season. Let's see here. We play RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology. We play. Let's see, who else do we play? We play. We play Alabama State twice, I believe. Yes, so Alexandria Tech, and then next week we'll play South Regina. We have Alabama State, RIT, Harrisburg, SIU, Edwardsville, Alabama State again, and then Stephen F. Austin to round out the season before playoffs. Alright, looks like we have another swap, this one coming for the Legends. Angel Reaper is swapping in for Sparks Jedi. I will go ahead and update this accordingly. Looks like our two teams are engaging in a little lively discussion about elementary school gym activities, like Gaga Ball and stuff like that, which that was my childhood. Alrighty, looks like the gorillas are. Never mind. It looks like the legends are still trying to talk some stuff over. Well, I guess that would be time to talk about Mizuki then. Mizuki, never mind. The legends are ready to roll. All right, let's get this. Whoopsies. Okie doke. We got ourselves a game to potentially win here, so let's not waste any time.
Welcome to New Junk
Alright, we are under the arena. No, we are in the arena. That is right, folks. Alright. Watch your head, don't meet your doom, because in this town, things go boom. Alright, looks like we are 5 seconds away. What are we going to be working with here? Alright, Whiskery is taking a Vendetta. Rainair is on Juno. Sakuya is taking Reaper, as if I wasn't talking about him earlier. Prison is on Kiri, and Comedy is taking Diva. And it looks like we have another Vendetta to go with. We have a Moira. We have Junkrat. We have a Junkrat, we have a Junker Queen, and we have a Wuyong. Alright. There's an early Hyper Ring. Let's get this clam bake on the road here, folks.
I am prepared to cause trouble.
Alright, so if I remember correctly, point A is the first point that will open, that being in the arena.
Flashpoint unlocks in 10 seconds.
Yep, looks like we are getting into it. Alright, that flashpoint is open. Point A is the arena. And it looks like Comedy on the front line. Whoa, hello, Junker Queen. We do a little tactical rocket away. Legends draw first blood as Sakuya and Whiskery go down. Meanwhile, Comedy is trying to flee for safety. Alright, the Legends are going to start capturing point A. And I hear the sounds of a manic rat giggling. Alright, bombs away, and it looks like the gorillas are trying to get in. Alright, I hear that defense matrix coming out. Ooh, and down goes the sword. And we fly, and we trim the cactus. Prison gets down though, but yeah, so does Yonsalal. Frog in a pond, it looks like it's about to be taken down too. And looks like there goes Angel Reaper. Pezzy is almost down. And folks, we have a gorilla team kill. And that is why Pittsburgh rhymes with fun. Alright, the gorillas stopped the Legends capture just 75% shy. Yep, looks like Rainair is trying to heal Whiskery. Out go that slice. Alright, sounding like Prison's being targeted. And Prison has been down, and so is Whiskery, thanks to that wave. Alright, looks like we're trying to absorb projectiles. We're trying not to get them in. I think the Legends might be trying to, yep, Legends are working on contesting as they just stop short of a quarter. Alright, they have a quarter. Alright, looks like the Legends are back on the capture for point A. Alright, they're at the 85 mark. Looks like all is calm, all is quiet, but I think it's time that we riot. Alright, Whiskery's been down, courtesy of Frog in a Pond. Alright, and it looks like point A is going to the Legends.
Let us progress to the next point.
I did not get to hear what that next point was, but it looks like the Legends are taking us there. Let's see, that is the... Alright, Sakuya gets taken down from behind. Let's see, this is the refinery, I think?
Flashpoint unlocks in 10 seconds.
Alright, we have a coal sense ready to come out. Alright, point D is open. And the Legends are getting the first... Yep, Legends are getting the first drop on that. So up we go. I hear a Riptire. And it's a double kill on Prison and Rainair. And there's that Sundering Slam, and down goes Whiskery. Alright, looks like the Queen has another perk equipped. Sakuya is back on Venture, it would appear. Comedy just absorbing those projectiles. contest. Carnage gets explosions. Looks like Yonsalal gets taken down in the process, but there's a Guardian Wave. Alright, Whiskery goes down. Sakuya, Rainair are downed. And looks like Comedy is down to 2, and that is a Legends team kill. Alright, Legends are just about 90% of the way done. Question is, it looks like the Gorillas might try and wait it out. For the next, yep, okay.
Lost.
Alright, that was the Junkyard, I apologize.
Next, flashpoint, the ducks.
Alright, the Ducks are the next. Rainer has switched onto a Life Weaver, Cassidy onto, or no, Saki onto Cassidy, and Comedy is on to a Zarya. Life Weaver, I should probably throw in there, has received a lot of changes this update. He has 3 new perks to his kit. He has Dashing Escape, which allows his Rejuvenating Dash to go further. Let's see, his Pedal Platform, Pedal Protection is the name of it. That will heal anyone standing on it for 20 health a second. And then finally, a cool new major one called Sow the Seed. Gorillas are working on the capture. Sow the Seed, I believe, yeah, melee attack in his Healing Blossom will allow Life Weaver to throw a seed that gives allies temporary overhealth and move speed. Alright, we're doing a little life grip on Lucio, not wanting Prison to get hurt, but Pezzy takes us down in the process. Whiskery hanging out. Alright, meanwhile, Sakuya hangs out, waiting for our opponents to come back. Looks like we're punching a wall for some reason. Alright, Legends are 25% past. Alright, looks like they're frogging upon, just trying to heal Pezzy. Always a smart play to heal your tank. Alright, the Queen has been saved from, Queen's been saved from Regicide. There's a Colossense. Lucio has a sound barrier going down. And it looks like Sundering Blade is just about ready, and so is the Tree of Life. I hear the Riptire. It looks like Angel Reaper's been downed. There's that Tree of Life. Whiskery's been down. Isakiya's back in. Prison's here. Cactus trying to frag him. Alright, the Gorillas have started capture on point B. This could potentially turn the tide. Legends. Gorillas remaining aggressive though. Sakuya takes down Angel Reaper. It looks like Prison's been ticking down. Nope, never mind. Combi's kneeling too. Alright, there's a Graviton Surge. Alright, we're about to hit that 80% mark as Yonsalal has been taken out. And there's that Sundering Blade I hear from Graviton Surge, and we are beaming. Holy Toledo! That's a 4-person kill as the Gorillas take point B.
Next, flashpoint, refinery.
The refinery is coming up here. Comedy leading the charge. Yep, a little. This is a nice open space. Good for some long-range killing. Alright, that flashpoint is opening in 10 seconds. The Gorillas trying to whittle down the Legends' numbers. There's a Riptire, I hear. And it looks like that doesn't take down anybody. Alright, Legends are 3/4 of the way to the capture. Gorillas contesting though. Ooh, and just shy as Yonsalal gets taken out. Gorillas meanwhile trying to take it back. Frog in a pond. This is Colossense. Alright, the Gorillas are on the capture here now. This could potentially tie things up for the round and mean that one last flashpoint is opening up. Yep. Gorilla is trying to fight from distance, and a little clever strike. Oh, hello, Junker Queen. We have a knife stuck in our head. Why is there a knife stuck in our head? Alright. Cactus takes down Whiskery. Sakia and Rainier go down. Comedy and Prison have been taken out. That's a Legends team kill right there.
No worries, I've got you.
But I think I see. Alright, the girls are coming back for vengeance. There goes that Tree of Life from Rainier. Alright, the gorillas are going to start the capture here. And let's bring it back. Alright, looks like we're about to hit that 70% mark and pass them. Alright, we're hitting the 80%. We have a healing Lucio now. Whoa! Mama! Alright, we have a contest here. Going to overtime on this. I hear a Riptire that I don't think... Uh-oh. Takes down Sakia and Rainier. Gorilla's remaining aggressive, though. To try to take down... Yeah, their Angel Reaper has been reaped. Cactus is down, too. Alright, that goes to the Gorillas.
Flashpoint, both flags.
Alright, the flats are next. It is 2-2. Pezzy's on Roadhog. And folks, I am on Pins and Needles. Alright, looks like the Legends are gonna get there first. Yeah, looks like we might... No. Possibly. Hello? Alright, yep, doing a little reloading. Trying to take it down from afar, and there's a headshot as Frog Upon fades. Alright, point E is unlocking. E as in excellent. The Gorillas are going to start capturing. And there's that Retribution that takes down Sakia. Reaper takes down... Wait, what am I saying? Alright, meanwhile Whiskery trying to remain aggressive and work on whittling down the Hog. Inked Cactus is switched on to Freya. Freya is one of those more difficult to control characters, being it's a very high risk, high reward kind of character, thanks to her very movement heavy kit. Mechanics set, thank you. Alright, the girls are about to hit 50%. Prison's been booked, but there's that Tree of Life that looks like it's getting chopped down. And I hear the sounds of a Deadeye. And Frogging Upon gets cut from the corner. Alright, the girls are at 70%. But I think the Legends might be trying to take it. 78. Ooh, Angel Reaper takes us down. Whoa, what happened? Sorry folks, I got a little trigger happy on the keys there. Alright, the Legends are working on the capture here. Alright, they're about to hit 25. Meanwhile. Oh, and there's that Fan the Hammer on the Roadhog. I hear it. Yep, alright, the Gorillas are back on the capture as the Legends just passed 50%. And I think this one might be coming home with the Gorillas. 94, 95, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is a Gorilla victory. Those sweet are our friendships, our hopes and affections. Victory over 2 losses is sweetest of all. And it's Whiskery with the play of the game. Yes, it's the charging in at the refinery. And that is how you start your season, ladies and gentlemen. So, the Gorillas win this in a 3-2 victory in the Flashpoint round in order to secure a 1-0 record. Oh, folks, I am happy. Woohoo! Alright, folks, well, join us next week on, let's see, what is a week from today? Yes, join us on February 18th as the Gorillas take on the South Regina Seahawks. Yeah, your Gorillas are currently sitting at 1-0. It is just a sweet victory, folks. I could not be happier. Alright, well, for our production team, for our coach, Gabriel Cozart, this is Mark Ziegler, signing off. We'll see you next week, folks.